It's time for Twig This Week in Google. The new Nexus 5 is here. We'll have a review of that and of the KitKat operating system. A look at that Google barge. We finally know what it's for, or do we? And Google HelpOuts are here. We'll talk about that all next on This Week in Google.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for This Week in Google is provided by Cachefly. CACHEFLY.com. This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 223, recorded November 6th, 2013. Duty phone or booty phone? This Week in Google is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website or online portfolio. For a free trial and 10% off, go to squarespace.com and use the offer code TWIG11. It's time for Twig This Week in Google, and we've got a great panel joining us, as always. Gina Trapani, smarterware.org. I say as always, except we're going to lose you in December, and I'm so sad about that.
Oh, I'll be back. I'll be back.
She's moving to Brooklyn, and we're never going to see her again.
No, just going to take a couple of weeks off from having definite appointments, because I'll be couch surfing and living out of a suitcase there for a little bit.
As somebody who just packed and moved, and I'm still unpacking, it's horrible. It's the most horrible thing that you will ever do.
It's the quickest way to change your self-perception from minimalist to hoarder. Like,
yeah.
I just started packing, and I hate myself already. I'm like, why do I have all this stuff? Why do I have all this stuff? So having a big garage sale before we leave.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Somebody told me that. Get rid of everything.
Yeah.
If in doubt, throw it out.
Yeah. Anything that's not worth trucking across the country, we're selling it. We're going to start new, which is good.
Well, anyway, good luck with the move. Good luck with the pack. It's hard with kids, but you're at the right side of that. See, what's really hard is when you have kids like who are 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And then they don't want you to throw out anything from their entire childhood.
Yeah. Yeah, Ed is still small enough that we actually still kind of control her stuff, and we can get rid of toys, and she doesn't know yet.
Right.
So we are on the right side of that. So hopefully we'll. Yeah. That'll be easy.
Somebody once told me, watch out, you'll be losing keys. You'll be bumping into furniture. You're more prone to accidents. It's one of those life changes that actually discombobulates your brain.
Yeah,
Good
and
luck.
the weather change and the time zone change, we're all going to be a little discombobulated for a while, I think.
And I can't wait when Gina arrives back in January that she's going to have the thick accent back.
Do you have a Brooklyn accent?
Oh, absolutely.
What?
I worked really hard to get rid of it. I did. I worked really hard to get rid of it.
Oh, well,
you come on. You have to hear it sometimes. It comes out.
No,
Ball.
I've never heard it. I want to hear it now.
Upset. When I say ball, water.
Oh, no, you didn't.
$5 for a slice.
Are you going to talk like Rosie Perez from now on?
I didn't quite have it that bad.
Oh, that would be really great. I would love that.
Yeah, my wife made me promise that we would actively try not for Etta to not get the Brooklyn accent. I was like, look, you can't.
We're losing regionalisms. It's one of the things that makes this country great. It's one of the things that makes the world great is regionalisms, unique, geographic differences. I hate traveling is not nearly as fun as it used to be when you had to, get the Herald Tribune 3 days later to get the baseball scores. Now everything everything you see, it's not.
There's a line between charming and a little bit that's where you're from, huh? I don't know. There's something about it.
You know who did it great? It was Scarlett Johansson and Don John.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
She had
good with it.
I was surprised. I thought she must be from there. She was snapping the gum. That is Jeff Jarvis. He also has eliminated his patrician accent. He used to talk like this.
I'm from the Midwest. I have no accent. I am the standard for how to speak English, but fast.
He's Middle Atlantic.
No, I'm the one with no accent.
Oh, that's right.
That out.
Kevin Marks has no accent at all. We're the ones who sound weird.
I have a theory that since singing all sounds like American accent, that is the natural way to speak.
Why is that? Would you explain that, Kevin Marks? When the Beatles sing, they sound American. What is that? You watch Eurovision, and ABBA, except for a few slight weird glottal stops, sounds like they're American.
It may be the structure of the vowels. That may be what it is.
Yeah.
Is that
you stretch the
American
vowels.
has very sloppy vowels.
Yeah.
and you have to do that to sing. It's if you're singing in German, it's quite hard, whereas singing in Italian is much easier.
It's our sloppy vowels that make us so lovable.
So you have these sort of smoothed out vowel sounds that are different there are many American accents, but in most American accents there's a bit of that, I think.
But instead of saying love me do, I love you. I'll always be true. It didn't sound like that. They could have.
I think in that case it was because they listened to the
That's
American
right.
blues singer.
They
and
wanted
that's
to
what it
sound
like.
that.
I'm fairly sure that was
No, I don't think you could. No one sounds like that.
Yeah, they do. If you listen to Pink Floyd sing, or you listen to the Clash sing, they sing in London accents.
A little bit more, yeah. So where are you, Kevin? It sounds like you're at a conference.
I am at the Giga Ohm Roadmap Conference.
Oh, fun.
Which is at Yerba Buena Center for the Arts. So it may be a little bit echoey, and there were some trombones playing earlier. So we may.
No, it's fine. In fact, you sound great. I could tell you're at a conference. So what is Roadmap all about? Is it a look to the future?
It's about what's interesting to Ohm at the moment, which is usually a good signal.
Absolutely.
It reminds me a bit of the old E-Tech, where he was trying to find a bunch of things that are coming along. But the theme this year is very much about the intersection of technology and design, and that's sort of broadly what's been discussed here. People talking about the different possibilities around that.
Ohm Malik is the Yoda of tech, and we love him dearly.
Give him a hug for us.
He's just the greatest.
E-Tech, that's a blast from the past, man.
E-Tech.
That was
I
when
miss E-Tech.
conferences
E-Tech
were
was one of the
cool.
better events.
Yeah.
So that's the principle. But the speakers he had Jack Dorsey and Jeff Veen and Eric Spiekerman and Tony Fadell, and so a lot of people who've been working with design and engineering at the same time. So it's been quite interesting for that perspective on product design and thinking about it. I've got a bunch of notes up.
There's so many big stories this week. This is a big week for Google. Between the Google barge, HelpOuts, KitKat, and of course the Nexus 5. I don't know where to start, but since I have a Nexus 5 in my hot little hands, I thought
we got to start with
this might be the good place to start. So I don't know. Both Chad and I ordered ours, and so does Kevin Marks. I see his. Ordered ours within an hour of the beginning of sales, which was about 11 a.m. Pacific on Halloween Day, the 31st.
Did your IFTTT recipe work?
It did, except I should never have mentioned it because a lot of people went on app.net to prank me.
So your phone was just blowing up?
Yeah. The other thing that I noticed, and this is maybe something to remember for future reference, it does it in clumps. And I don't know if that's the app.net API or IFTTT, if this, then that.
Yeah.
But
it might be polling,
it was and the polling was not very regular, so this is probably not the ideal way to do it. As it turned out, I think somebody mentioned it on Twitter or Google Plus or whatever. I knew it was going to be that day, and I was watching carefully. I bought a 16 gigabyte because when I first went to the site, that's all it showed, and then the chat room said, "Oh no, you just modify the URL to say 32 gigabytes." You could change the black to white if you want, and you can get whatever kind you want. So I did that, and I got the 32, and I have a 16. I think maybe we'll have a raffle or something of the 16. We'll figure out some way to give that away.
Nice, real hacking.
So a couple of things about it. Jeff and Gina, I know both of you are Nexus 4 lovers. It is everything the Nexus 4 was and better. It's 1080p now instead of 720p. Very nice screen. Although, I complained about the Nexus 4 screen. I felt it was a little washed out, and this screen feels a little bit washed out, too. I've put a black wallpaper on it to give it more contrast, and it's a little bit preferable to me. But one advantage it has, whatever they're doing with this screen, maybe they're turning the brightness up, is it's great in sunlight. In fact, I've never seen a phone that looks better in bright sunlight. It's totally usable. It could be it's an IPS LCD screen. It could be that's a feature. Oh, and I just showed you another thing. Because it's KitKat, it's our first look at what Android 4.0 Android 4.4 does. And one of the first things you'll notice immediately is the home screens are done differently. When you slide to the left, you get Google Now.
Very nice.
I'm gonna turn the brightness down a little bit here because it's overpowered.
I kind of liked the swipe up.
Swipe up's still there.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. By the way, notice this transparency. Google Now actually goes behind the buttons.
Surprised they don't do the full screen on that. But yeah, that's nice. The transparency is nice.
And I think we're going to see more of that. So the swipe up still works. You saw that, and then you can still swipe up and tap Google but what it does is
it stay there all the time or they disappear.
They stay there all the time. Isn't that odd? But they're transparent. Weird. The other thing is it's always listening when the screen's unlocked, and you have to say "Okay, Google," and it will work like that. And by the way, notice the transparency behind it. I think you're going to see a lot more transparencies.
Oh, look at the translation. That's fast.
Yeah. Yeah, this is good. I think that they've done a very nice job. They have changed a few things. For instance, you can no longer add widgets through the app drawer. The app drawer is just an app drawer. There's no more of this widget tab. To get a widget, you have to have a free space somewhere on your screen. I don't. Oh, man.
Unlimited screens, I thought.
You do, but okay, so the only way you can get to a new screen is to slide it over. And now I've made a new screen.
Oh,
there you go.
How do you do that?
And yeah, how do you do that is a good question. So this was not immediately obvious to me either, Kevin. If you slide a widget or if you put a, so I'll show you. Here's how you get to widgets or apps. You press and hold on an empty spot. And now we have wallpapers, widgets. And here's an interesting thing. Settings for Google Now. I think people have said Google Now is everywhere, and I think this is the case. So anytime this is the view of the home screens. So you can reorder the home screens, all except for that Google Now page, which as you can see, I can't get to and I can't reorder. So I could take this and drag it around. If I've created a home screen, if I want a new home screen, I can just drag a widget or an app over to it. So
how did you get into that mode? Into this mode?
Press and hold. And actually,
okay,
you know what? It works on does it work on a widget? No, it doesn't. So press and hold, and now I can. This is how you do it, Kevin. You drag it over, and now I have more screens. And then if you press and hold to get the widget screen, I see all of the screens, and I can rearrange
I see.
them.
Okay, so it creates a new screen when you drag to the left.
Yeah, you have to actually ask for it. But in effect, ask for a new screen by moving something there. That will work also with an app. So if you take an app and you drag it, you can put it on a new screen.
Oh, and it moves the apps out of the way of the widgets.
Yep.
It's kind of cute.
Other changes. Let me think. You'll see all of this. Oh, there's a big thing here that I think is actually a mistake. There's two things that are really big changes. One is you see here, Hangouts is the new messages. You still have a message. You still have a messaging app for text messages. It's still there, but don't use it. There's no reason to use it because Hangouts now does it all. So we had heard that Hangouts will allow text messaging. It does. All the text messages go in there, Google Voice messages, and Hangouts messages. So it's an all-in-one messenger by default. I didn't have to do anything.
So you didn't have to go in and say use Hangouts.
In fact, this was how it was configured, was with it already in the dock. Mm-hmm. But you do still have, I believe, a message, maybe not. I don't see it.
I saw the dialer, but I didn't see.
Nope. That's another big change. The dialer is very different, and I think a big improvement. I make sure I don't want to show any phone numbers here. Nope, no phone numbers. It's very different. The search will now search not only everything in your contact list, but also searches Google Places. And also caller ID comes from Google Places. So if somebody calls me from an 800 number, even if they're not in my contact list, there may be information about them from Google Places, which is kind of cool. The phone number dialer no longer now takes up the whole screen. It just slides up the contact list. I have to be careful here.
And if you're in an SMS, then you get a little telephone icon there instead of the Hangouts icon, and it'll make a Google Voice phone call.
Oh, that's interesting. See, I don't want to show any.
I'm not sure if it will make a Google Voice phone call or if it will make a.
So here I'm in an SMS, and actually this is a voice number because somebody sent me a text via voice, so this is not a real number, but I can call. What else? I can add to people. This is all within Hangouts.
Yeah.
I got to be careful because I don't want to show any.
But what you see when it's a Google Hangout ID, you see the name and a little video camera, and when it's a SMS, you see the name and a little phone icon.
Yeah, or it actually says SMS.
Yeah.
The chat room says hold down the screen indicator area to get to.
Okay. So if I've run out of room, yeah, that works also. So I was complaining because I didn't have any empty space on the screen. You can also hold these little dots, the screen indicator. That's empty. That's considered empty space. So you can get there as well.
Nice.
I see. Okay.
One thing that's a little odd is there are two gallery apps now. There is the traditional AOSP kind of gallery app, and there's a Photos app. And this really is an interface to Google Plus Photos. But this is how you get all the new features of the auto awesome, the video editing, and all of that stuff. So this is really, they've extracted out of Google Plus, the app, just the photo page, basically.
Those photos are on your phone, or those are in the cloud? What are you looking at right now? And you don't know.
No, they're on the design. Yeah. So they give you both. See, so there's camera.
There's camera.
If you look at it, Chad. If there's camera, gotcha. And then there's highlights. So that's Google Plus, and that's camera.
Because there's sometimes a delay between the time that you take the photos and they get uploaded.
That's right.
Yeah.
This auto.
Especially on 3G.
The backup settings are in here now, and it does allow you to do full size. This is all stuff that they added to Google Plus. But I think that's a nice interface, frankly, to Google Plus Photos. But you might be a little confused. You still have a gallery. Your gallery works as before, but there's also this photo app. I think any other features I should mention?
Is there a new photo editor?
Not that I noticed. Maybe photos. Let me look. Let's look. It's in the gallery now. Okay, Jason Howell, host of All About Android, is saying it's in the gallery. So let's take a picture, and then I can. Oh yeah, here's the little pencil icon, and I can edit this. And I've got punch, vintage, all of the new editing stuff. This is a lot like Snapstream. I've got frames. I've got crops, including crop, straighten, rotate, and mirror. That's nice. This is going to be fun.
All the lies you can do in photos now.
Yeah, auto color, which is not very accurate. Exposures, you can change the exposure. This is nice. This is you may not need Snapstream anymore. You got a lot of the features of Snapstream built in, which is of course Snapseed. I'm sorry, which is
when
sure.
I click it, I get a what you want to edit this with link when I click on the photo the first time.
Ah.
So interesting is showing the original gallery and saying photo editor.
Well, it doesn't say the once or always.
It didn't ask me. Huh.
Yeah, there must be. I've got a lot of these
right?
features, not quite all of them. It must have been sort of an incremental update to the editor, because there is an editor in Gallery right now.
What are you on, a Nexus 4?
I'm on an HTC One, the
HTC One, and you got 4.4.
No, not yet. I don't have.
Okay.
I'm on.
So that's the other thing is some apps are being updated independently of 4.4.
I'm seeing different things in the different ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the photo editor, in the gallery, I get the punch and the vintage and the we want to be Instagram thing. But if I click on it and do the photos one, I get a different subset of options.
That's not going to work. Whatever you're doing.
With a different name.
Holding it up to the camera.
There's also a unified file picker. Have you checked this out, Leo?
Where would I get to that?
So I don't know, in any app where you're opening a file, maybe in Hangouts, you want to send someone a file.
Okay, let's try that. And let's go to Gmail, and I want to
Gmail would work.
Attach. Let's do a new image, and I want to attach something. Attach picture, attach video. So this is the picture. Yeah, I like this. This looks more like the... And then you also have, and this is a big deal, not only do I have access to drive through this, but also drop whatever you've attached. So in this case, Dropbox, Astro File Manager, Photos, Gallery, Downloads, Images, Drive, and Recent. So that is nice.
Oh, so you've connected your Dropbox account to your...
I had connected it before, and so it now sees that in the picker.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Oh.
So I can open directly from Dropbox. As well as Google
that's
Drive.
Really nice.
Yeah.
And that's a unified file picker. Any dev making any app that involves opening a file can just evoke that and doesn't have to worry about writing any of that custom code, but also gets access to all whatever cloud sources you've enabled, which is really nice. I'm so glad to see it's not just Google Drive, that you can connect other apps like Box or Dropbox.
Yeah, if I don't have a Box account, so I would guess Box and all the other things. It's the traditional share thing, though. As you add those apps, they get added to the...
Although iCloud probably doesn't work. I bet SkyDrive. I wonder if SkyDrive would work.
I shall try it and see. Now, a lot of us are going to get 4.4. There's the list of phones that are getting 4.4 is getting longer and longer. And one of them is Moto X. Now, I think Faux 44 is really worth getting. But when I compare this phone to Moto X, I have to say that I'm probably going to still carry the Moto X day to day. So advantages are that the Nexus 5 definitely has a better screen, bigger screen. It's 5 inches compared to 4.7, but it's also 1080p compared to
which is
720.
Which is actually amazing to look at on the 1080p on this. Yeah,
it's beautiful. But I like many of the features that the Moto X has. I like the trusted Bluetooth that unlocks it automatically. I like the Motorola Skip feature. I like the Shake to take a picture feature. I like the Motorola Assist is an amazing feature. Right now, for instance, and I said this before and I got in trouble, nobody can call me because I'm in a meeting, right? Unless they're in a trusted person. Those things work really well for me. It senses when you're in a car, when you're in a meeting, when you're asleep. The Do Not Disturb feature is great. I don't get bothered at night anymore, which is really great. And these are all features that Motorola added. And Motorola says the Moto X is going to get 4.4 like soon. They're going to skip right over 4.3. On the other hand, the camera, I think, in the Nexus 5 is better. In fact, I'll show you some.
There was a software issue on the Moto X.
They updated the Moto X camera.
Yeah,
I don't
the
know.
Verge review, Topolsky kind of said
the
camera wasn't that great.
The Verge really seemed to have a hard-on for the Nexus 5, and I don't know why. I don't think I agree with many of the things that they said. They were really nasty about it.
A lot of question marks. Yeah, the ultimate Google phone, question mark. But it seems like Josh took most issue with the camera.
Well, let me show you.
Fixable with software, and he said that in good light it takes pictures that are really good, but in some lesser conditions.
Well, I'll show you a good light picture and I'll show you a bad light. It does have optical image stabilization, right? So I think that makes a big difference. It also is slow, and I think that's the biggest complaint I have. Moto X is much quicker to get the picture. On the other hand, when you get the picture, I think this is an HDR picture. The crispness, the detail is excellent. This is low light, relatively low light. This is even lower light because while I'm on a set that's lit, Chad is not lit right now. And I think the low light performance is excellent here. Colors, very good. The detail, very good. Some of it's HDR, some of it's not, and I don't remember. Maybe, oh, you know what? It'd be in the details. Let me go back here and see if it marks that. It doesn't say. I guess it doesn't say. It does say the f-stop, the exposure, but it doesn't look like it says if it's. I think this is I think I'm very happy with the results of this camera. I think it does a very, very nice job, and I think that the color is very accurate. I think this rivals the iPhone 5, frankly.
Yeah. 5S. All right, so it's the Motorola features of.
It's the Motorola add-ons purely, and you'll sacrifice screen size and quality with some caveats. I feel it's a little washed out compared to the Moto X, and camera quality for cameras that's on the Nexus 5. It beats them on that respect, but on the Moto X, camera speed is much. I can get to a picture so much faster on the Moto X. I could just tap and I've got a picture. It's just very quick, but the pictures are not as satisfying. They're not bad, but I think that and it is the difference between an IPS screen and an AMOLED screen, exactly. So if as I do, prefer the AMOLED color and the contrast, you'll like the Moto X better.
Are they both wireless charging or no?
No, Moto X does not have wireless charging.
Okay. What's the battery life like?
Moto X, I think, beats it pretty handily. But the Moto X has this advantage of this X processor, this external processor, whatever they call it, the X8, that is on listening for talking. You know, the other thing about the Moto X, you can talk to it at any time.
Right, it's touchless. You don't have to be the
This
phone
has touchless, but the phone has to be awake, right? And I think that the Moto X is getting better battery life than the Nexus 5. Nexus 5 is not bad. It's maybe 12 hours.
And the price difference now for the unlocked?
That's a big difference. Moto X is almost twice as much.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. And in many ways, that's the headline on the Nexus 5 is $350 for 16 gigs, $400 for 500 gigs. The Moto X has wireless? Oh, I didn't know that. I wasn't able to do it, but maybe I haven't been. I thought it did not have wireless. I don't like wireless charging. I have a lot of Qi chargers all around the house, and you have to position it just right. This apparently now has magnets in it, and they have a new Nexus 5 charger. And if the magnets help position it, then that'll make a difference.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like something that I can't tell if it's that people don't talk about wireless charging very much. I don't have it. I've never had any of my devices, but like my fantasy is that someday I'm just going to like take my phone and lay it down somewhere and it'll just work. But does it not just work in its current iteration? That's the thing. You got to position the phone correctly.
You do.
It's hit or miss.
I bought because I have my Nexus 4 and my Nexus 7. I thought, oh, it'd be great. I have wireless chargers. I have Anchor. I have the Google wireless charger, and I have an Energizer wireless charger. And at least with the Nexus 4 and the Nexus 7, getting it into exactly the right position is tricky. You have to look at the light to see if it's charging. If it gets knocked loose, it's not going to charge. It takes a long time to charge. It's not an efficient way to charge. I ended up just plugging it in because then I know it's in. It's charging, and it's charging at the maximum speed.
That's not good enough. It's got to be the wireless charging to be really, worth it. It has to. Yeah. It has to be super easy.
It was a little disappointing. Moto X does not have wireless charging. I don't know why somebody in our chat room said that. But I don't think wireless is really a great form of charging. So.
I'm not getting I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm not getting buyer's remorse in going for the Nexus 5 over the Moto X.
No, I think you like the Nexus. Look, anybody who loved the Nexus 4, which you did, is going to say this is the Nexus 4 and it's even better. No glass back, nice soft touch back. It's much less fragile.
Feels good in the hand.
Feels good in the hand. It's a little big compared to one thing. It's sad because I think the Moto X is not getting much love, and it deserves it because I think in many ways this would be the most satisfying phone for most people. This is a better size for the hand. It's just a little bit smaller. On the other hand, I took both out into bright sunlight, and the Nexus 5 is easily the best in bright sunlight. In fact, I've never seen a phone that's this good in bright sunlight. It's really great.
Oh, I've got one here.
What's that?
You see, this is one that Nicolas Charbonnier showed me, which is an e-ink screen phone.
He brought that to Twitter on Sunday. It's very slow. It's using the same screen technology as in the Kindle, but at least it looks good in bright light. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite. And he's also. Do you already seen the Android iPhone?
Yeah. Oh, I guess he had more than one. I bought from him the Android iPhone, the Android Lumia 1020, and the Android the Note 3, the fake Note 3.
Whoa.
So he must have had more in his little peddler's pack.
Yes,
that's an unholy marriage.
Well, it's even weirder than that because half the apps are actual. Like they look like the
clock app is indistinguishable.
The phone app looks like.
That's horrible. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
But the if you click on Maps, you go straight to Google Maps. But the weather one is like a complete clone.
It's
of
an Apple one.
The Apple one.
Yeah. Look at the clock app. It's exactly the same. And this is Android. This company spent a lot of energy in making this indistinguishable from an iPhone, except that it's clearly distinguishable. And I don't know if you saw this, Kevin. Yesterday, I got into some weird boot cycle with a lot of Chinese characters going, and I had to just guess what to hit. It was all very strange.
How much was it?
$43.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's really clear what they're selling these for is not to fool the owner. The owner knows it's not Windows Phone. They don't even hide it. I mean, they don't say Windows Phone on it. This says something weird on it, Clotcud. But it's to fool your friends to think you have a prestigious, high-value phone like an iPhone. This doesn't say Apple on it. It says it's a digital audio player. It should say designed in China, assembled in China. That would be good.
That would be really good.
Yeah. There's the Nexus. It even has stitching.
Wait, he also says some of them they've changed the version string, so they look like they're running higher versions of Android than they are and things.
Oh, I bet.
This one, so the version string, even though it's the Android settings, the version looks like it says iOS version 7.
Yeah. They have some good programmers. I mean, this is the iOS settings. Exactly.
Yeah, it's got the bounce and everything.
Yeah, somebody spent some effort doing this. Anyway, isn't that fun? So, how much did Nicholas sell you that for?
Oh no, he just. I told him I was on the show. He said, "Oh, I'll leave them here so you can."
Oh, all right. Yeah, I bought them all. Charbacks.
I've got his full set here.
Armdevices.net. Oh, look at that. You do have the full set.
Oh wow.
You got them all. You got them all. I guess he buys several because he's. I thought he was selling me his only copies, but I guess.
Well, he goes back and forth every month and visits the same people and stuff they've made.
In Shenzhen, yeah. Pretty cool.
Because there was a Zeynep Tufekci who was grumbling on Medium. I don't know if you saw this, saying that she couldn't get a phone that was the right size for her hands because she's got small female hands and all the Android phones are too big. So I think we need to put her together with Jarbax and say, okay, give him your specs and he'll have someone manufacture an Android phone.
Hey, there is, I think, good news coming your way, Jeff. I saw you posted on Google Plus, but according to
I wouldn't call it good news.
Well, there's news. According to Fandroid, Verizon says it's Google and Asus's fault that it can't activate the Nexus 7. These are systems issues with 4.3.
I smell a rat. I'm looking for the tail.
Yeah.
Because they said there's some systems issue.
So they said Google and Asus asked Verizon to suspend the certification process.
Google is never going to piss off Verizon.
Well, good news is that the reason I say it's good neuse is that 4.4 will be available on Nexus 7 soon, like this week or next.
Who knows when?
Well, of course it will.
Yeah, I filed a funny thing was just this morning I filed a continuing complaint with the FCC. Because they said that the certification was going to go to 4 to 6 weeks, started in August.
Hey.
That means somewhere between September 1 and mid-October, it should have been done. Right. It's now into November. So I said, enough, FCC, and we'll see. So this afternoon they came out with this. Then also yesterday, of course, they announced their own 7-inch tablet. Anti-competitive?
Oh, wow. Oh, smoking gun?
They still haven't hooked it up, but I don't. I mean, the thing is, Google is never going to piss off Verizon, right? Google has done the devil's deal with Verizon about net neutrality. Google, they go to Google and say, "Hey, just ask us to delete this, okay?" And Google says, "Okay." Yes, Don, Verizon, and so I don't know. We'll never know what happened there unless the NSA has been listening. But now Verizon is hiding behind this. I still question the certification. I still say the FCC should get discovery on what was discovered in the certification, and because the certification alone makes a lie of the notion of open.
Right.
The phone meets standards that are set. Standards are what rule here, not certification. So what happens when you get the Google the Motorola, rather, a modular phone that comes out, and some hacker makes a module for it? Is Verizon going to insist on certifying these things and going through thousands of dollars of that? No. If it's an open network, it's an open network.
Wasn't this the famous landmark decision, the Carter phone decision, where Ma Bell was required to allow third-party phones on the network? They used to say you have to use rent Western Electric equipment from us. Because we have to, have a reliable system. In 1968, the FCC said, nope, Carter phone, that was the specific device, can be connected to the AT&T network as long as they can be shown not to cause harm.
Right.
So that's what opened up the network way back in 68.
Exactly. So the same thing going on now. Open is open is open. Now, there are some people who are complaining and saying that I should add the Nexus 5 because it doesn't work on Verizon to this, but that's different. For a couple reasons. One is that the Nexus 5 depends on the CDMA networks of frequencies, and those are not open.
Right.
Those are, in fact, proprietary. The only thing that was open here, that was made open, was the 700 megahertz Block C spectrum, because that was the condition of the sale of it to Verizon. So Verizon is still not acting openly, so I still call them on it.
Well, another good piece of information that you might be interested in is it looks like the Moto Maker site is going to come to Sprint in the next week or so. I hope I think Verizon, and I hope T-Mobile, and I'm going to beg Kai Kawasaki to let me order a wooden-backed phone.
Oh yeah.
So if I can use Moto Maker on T-Mobile, I might have a Nexus 5, extra Nexus 5. I just want a wooden phone. I like the Nexus 5, but ultimately you have to pick one phone, right? You can't It's not practical to carry
Well,
around.
not you.
Well, this is my problem. I only want to carry one phone.
Did you see the picture? I should
a lot of
have
people
said
carry
there was a
two,
picture. Sorry, Kevin.
So a lot of people do carry two because they have a work phone and a personal phone.
Or
Pain in
the
the butt.
BlackBerry they're ashamed of. I just went to a conference, a fancy schmancy Foursquare conference. It's called, not that Foursquare, but run by Lazard, and it's off the record. But Sir Martin Sorrell was on stage and he had his BlackBerry, and he was being ridiculed for having a BlackBerry. There was also a great picture I should have saved of, I think it was in China, of a bus with like 25 phones in the dash. Frightening. I think we'll actually drive that way. I think it was a joke.
I hope it's a joke.
It looks like something, the Leo car.
My friends call it the booty phone and the duty phone.
Booty
Work
and duty.
phone. Yeah. The work phone and the personal phone.
Which is which? Booty, duty. Booty.
I definitely feel like Saul Goodman here at the moment with this set of things here.
You got quite a few, yeah. That's right. He opens a drawer on Breaking Bad and pulls out a burner phone and says, "Here, use this."
Yeah.
A Hello Kitty phone? Hey, it's free.
But also the other slightly weird thing is that these bootleg phones have the actual Google Play Store on, which is surprising.
I know. I thought that was very weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe Google's just turning a blind eye because they want the market share, like Microsoft used to do with pirate versions of Windows, or maybe they just haven't worked out how to enforce this yet. But
Yeah, I mean, just to be clear, they could use the open source version of Android without any interference and fork it as Amazon does. It's the apps the Google apps that make it a violation.
Right. But they are running Maps and they're running the Play Store and they're running the core apps.
Yeah, maybe Google's saying, "Hey, what the heck? How could it be bad for them?"
Even the iPhone one, if you click the Apple Maps, you get Google Maps on.
Right, I know. It's got the Apple Maps icon though.
Yes.
Even with Highway 280 and everything.
Whereas the store, they spawn something that looks very like the Apple App Store, but I'm not sure quite what happens when I try and install something from it.
What size SIM do these things have?
I don't know. Let me look.
Which?
They looks like big Sims.
They're very.
That's what I'm imagining. They don't have the micros.
Yeah.
Just to be
The
clear,
Nexus
this
5
is
has a micro
Android
SIM,
with
so I had to
an
come down
iOS
with
like
scissors.
skin.
Yeah, these are all Android that are skinned and running on devices that look like other people's proprietary devices. And it's because, they're too expensive in China. These are all $50 or less. So
Yeah. Well, they're a bit more if you want 3G rather than 2G and things like that.
Right.
It's like a shopping list for like what features you get.
Right. So Google has announced a new tool to help you get things done. Is this going to be? I don't want to preempt the change log. I don't think you have this in the change log.
I don't think I do.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Let's do
exist
it.
yet.
Let's talk about it.
HelpOuts, paid, but sometimes they're free. Where I guess it's using Google Hangouts, so a knowledgeable person is helping out on.
The video's kind of fun, Leo.
Should I play the video?
Yeah,
All
the
right.
video's
Yeah, actually,
great.
it's
The
not a
video's
bad
really
video.
cool.
Let's watch the video. This is the Google HelpOuts advertisement. Typing in photo retouching, and these are HelpOuts for photo retouching. $20 per HelpOut.
It's going to overexpose the photo. I'm going to tell you what to do. We're going to fix it.
And you get one-on-one help.
I want you to look for the curve tool.
See if you can soften your shoulders towards each other.
Yoga.
There you go.
Put your middle finger.
This is teaching hand gestures.
Put your ring
On the
finger.
guitar.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Be nice.
For the audio folks, they have no idea.
Yeah, that's it. Perfect.
That's the idea. Maybe I can do one on how to curse.
Right underneath, just to really give them a little bit of extra depth.
See, this is the one I need.
Makeup tips.
That really brings out those big, beautiful
Seriously, I
eyes.
need
What's
an
cool
awesome
about this
stylist
is
to
that
help me
she's looking in the mirror with her computer behind
her, right.
First third in.
the
That way,
computer
Cooking?
in the mirror.
even texture throughout the cake.
I'd be too embarrassed to use this. I'm just shy, though, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Real help from real people in real time. HelpOuts.google.com. It is a great idea.
This is a whole new market for
It's very
skills,
clever,
right? So
yeah.
you have like the Etsy's and you got YouTube, but this is like, I'm an expert in a
knowledge.
thing. And you notice their price. So you could say $20 per help out. I'll help you out. I don't know how you said it, like an hour or 30 minutes. I mean, people email me all the time and just like, hey, can we do a call? Can I just run some ideas by you or whatever?
Could I charge like $180 a minute? I mean, could I really go crazy on this? Or
I think you can set any price. They take 20%.
They get 20%. So could I say I'll give you a half an hour of my time for $1,000?
Try it.
I will.
They have to approve you now, though.
Yeah. So here's what you do: you go to you click the helpouts.google.com page and you say I'd like to apply. You have to have an invitation code right now because it's early days yet. I guess you go through the process of applying. Pick your price, set your own rate for each help out, and get paid easily using Google Wallet. Charge a fixed price per help out or set a per minute rate. You set up your schedule. You decide when you're available. Then I guess you get in a directory. Now, there's a button here that says give your own help outs. Yeah, I guess you have to get vetted by Google.
Yeah. And then there's a story on the rundown, next one down from GigaOM, saying that for now, for health, they're not doing it. And this seems to indicate they're not doing a price. They're making them free for now.
Health is free, so
different price.
Here's a couple pet wellness information, nutritional counseling. That's $65.
With insurance companies or medical plans or
this
one's
paid. I can get a nutrition counseling for $65. Pet stuff's free. Here's a help with your medical questions, $60 per help out, $5 per minute. Dr. Rodney Saman, he's a preventative cardiologist in Los Angeles. Psychotherapy on call for $90.
Jesus.
Bill Zicka Dr. Bill, he calls himself. That's an interesting idea. Talk to a shrink.
Well, it's an HBO show. It's what's her name?
But what's nice about this is it's less expensive. He's got a PhD in psychology. He's a clinical psychologist, licensed to practice in California. Now, I wonder, do you have to call from California?
Huh.
24-hour notice required or fees apply for cancellation. So you set up an appointment, next available time, 10 a.m. It's just like a real therapist, really. $90 for 45 minutes, though, is, maybe half or a little more than half what it would cost for a real therapist. And, I don't see any reason why a hangout wouldn't be every bit as good as sitting on a couch across from somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the categories are home, art and music, computers and electronics, cooking, education and careers, fashion and beauty, fitness and nutrition, health, and home and garden. I wouldn't mind. Let's see. Fashion, online personal styling.
Sports coaching, I would have thought that would be an obvious one.
Which one?
Sports coaching. It's like, okay, let me show you how to hit that.
Well, it's a little hard to do it out in the field, but
they don't have that.
I guess you could do a golf
yoga
swing.
Thing was
you got phones that runs on these.
Yeah, well, they got fitness. Let's see if there's fitness. Marathon training, party-proof your weight loss from Weight Watchers. So there's some brands doing stuff here.
Brands.
Oh,
Wow.
interesting. That's actually a good, that makes sense for Weight Watchers.
Yeah, here's some. You want to use kettlebells? $30 per help out at $1.25 a minute.
What the heck are kettlebells?
What? Oh, come on. You don't know what kettlebells are?
No.
Man, basically think of a giant cement weight. that you swing around. Yoga.
Well, I would be dangerous with that, whatever it does.
Oh, yeah. Everybody is.
Kill someone.
Here's corrective exercises for posture and imbalance. It seems to involve large chains.
Oh, it kind of makes you hot at the same time.
Yeah. This person is a certified personal trainer. Lots of awards. Oh, season premiere winner of NBC's American Gladiators. How'd you like to be taught by a gladiator?
No.
$20, 15 minutes. She'll show you how to...
Hi, I'm Melissa Trinidad with Optimal Health and Performance Training. In this Google Help Out, I will...
They've obviously been, this just came out a couple of days ago, and they've got a ton of stuff, so they've obviously been soliciting people, right?
Yeah, they seeded it with some good stars.
Prenatal personal training. This is great.
But Gina's right, too.
cool.
What's really interesting is that this is a spare cycle business, too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Not for Weight Watchers, but for just, what the heck, I got nothing going on tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
This is how, demand media...
Are you kidding? If you're a personal trainer, this is huge. A nutrition counselor. A psychotherapist, I think that's very interesting. Here's a guy, $15 for an hour. He'll work with you on P90X. That's cheap.
Do they have educational stuff?
Yes.
Because
What would you like to learn, Kevin Marks?
Well, I was thinking reading therapy. This is stuff my wife and sons do. And
yes.
Potentially you could do it over this if the thing is good enough. Yeah.
Here's Spanish tutoring. Here's physics tutoring. Tutoring. What a for tutoring.
Tutoring. That's pretty good.
Free resume
You
evaluation.
add a rating system on top of this of who are the good tutors.
That's what they need. They do need a karma system.
Yes, they do.
Beginning and intermediate algebra tutoring. Oh, I'm going to have Abby do this. This is great. Chinese language, science and math, rock computer science homework.
Oh, yeah, Jake would love this too. Yeah.
Yeah, college internship interview
what about
preparation.
What about programming or technical? Yeah.
Well, there's getting started with the Dutch language. I'm sure there is. Understanding Shakespeare, learn effectively, take better notes. I'm going to send a link to this to my kid in college.
Yeah, I was thinking that of Andrew.
Fabulous. Here it is, Intro to Computer Science. This is, or if you have a general programming question, this guy's a PhD student in applied algorithms and chemoinformatics at the Colorado School of Mines. He's got a BS in computer science and software engineering and a minor in mathematics.
And they do have reviews.
Oh, they do?
They do. Oh.
5-star reviews. This guy is amazing. Just had a few questions, and JK thoroughly explained to me answers. Would recommend him. This is great.
Similar to app reviews. In fact, it's
Just
interesting
like
to see
app
it in the Play
reviews.
Store.
Oh, this is amazing. I'm loving this.
And it's a whole
Yeah,
marketplace,
so
potentially.
why do you use this instead of just advertising the fact that you're available? It looks like this system's, like the 20% that you're paying Google as
Worth
somebody
it.
who's offering
It's marketing.
HelpOut. It's for marketing,
marketplace.
it's for scheduling, it's for reviews, it's for discovery.
Payment.
Yeah, this is really neat.
They've got a
20%
front
is
end.
high though, as
Is
far
it?
as I'm concerned. I think 20% is high. Look, Leo,
I
if you
think
were going to do,
anybody else would've done
If they take
hour-long
the credit
tech
card fee out of
help
that,
outs.
it's not too bad.
But you're right. If I'm doing it for $1,000 and they get $200, that's not so good. But I still get $800.
Yeah, but
I'll charge $12.50 and then I'll get my money back.
And if you have your own platform, somebody can Gmail you the $1,000 through Wallet without Google taking a cut. So this is about discovery, and also it's about it's about the ratings, which ultimately is about discovery, and it's about scheduling. Booking times, which looks like there's some UI here for that.
Latin help, SAT prep.
I think the market. I mean, Gina, let's not forget this. Gee, I need to get some help with Photoshop. Where am I going to go to start? Google. I'm going to search Google, and soon I'm going to find people who can teach me in Google. So this is a search play across this new field.
How do I do? Yeah. Whoa.
Clever.
I'm going to take this one. Speaking confidently and dynamically without fear. I need this.
How about taking a course on how to sneak a soup slurp?
Shh. Yeah, I should. Eating on air. I could teach that course.
All right. Kevin, what would you teach? I can't wait for this because I know this is going to be. Kevin could teach the most arcane thing.
Yeah, something you're like the world's leading expert.
Kevin.
No. The thing is, I'm a dilettante, so I run about all kinds of different things. I'm not sure what I can actually sell here. It probably would be, web standards and software stuff. I was actually considering to make money on it. Maybe I should try that. I'll probably have to tidy up my office a bit so that I don't have to go in the garden each time the thing rings. But
here's one for you, Gina. Chocolate. Everything you need to know.
Oh, I think I know everything I need to know about chocolate.
What this is from the Savor Chocolate and Patisserie School, $23.88. If you love all things chocolate, how to temper chocolate. This is for like cooking chocolate.
Now, here's the thing I don't understand. That doesn't scale very well, right? So you're paying $20. I wonder if they can also offer group classes. With 5 of you at the same time, each paying $20.
Right. That would make more sense for certain kinds of tutoring and things as well.
I love this.
But for like classes, you can do something like Khan Academy. See, this is the thing. If I'm trying to work with layers in Photoshop, or I really want to cut out the background behind something in an image, and I can't figure out how to do it, I'm going to go to Google.com. I'm going to be like, how do I, black out everything in the background in Photoshop? If Google returns, hey, get Photoshop help by this expert, I'm going to want to do this help out and be like, listen, here's my screen. I'm sharing my screen. How do I do this thing I'm going to try to do? Like a very specific question, and that I would pay a premium for.
Per minute. Here on the cooking section, there are people helping you with culinary crises. Ever run into a kitchen crisis? Are you wondering whether to saute, stir fry, or sous vide? And then for $2 a minute, you can get somebody to go, yeah, well, I can see what the problem right here is. You know, you're trying to cook with the
call Domino's
tea kettle. Oh, yeah, right. Dinner Ninja.
Thanksgiving will be a big day for the cooking help-outers.
I love the cooking stuff, man.
I hope this doesn't go to the way of Null. I really do hope that this gets, good uptake.
I think it could be huge. Computer repair consultant, computer problem help, Apple Macintosh. There's of course a lot of people in this category.
Well, there's got to be a grandma help course too here. Just you can. I'll pay for it, Grandma. Just ask this guy.
Well, here's one: using Google Calendar. I think that's for Grandma.
We laugh, but me and my co-founder were trying to share the company Google Calendar and get rights to it, and it took us together with 2 laptops, and this is what we do.
Right.
It took us 20 freaking minutes to figure out how to make the calendar writable by both of us on our personal accounts. So
well, there you go.
Sometimes you just run into a situation where you're like, how do you do this stupid thing? And someone can just tell you right there on the spot. But imagine, the high school kid in the middle of Alaska, who knows a lot about computers and wants to make a little extra money. You can do, you can be a remote geek squad using
I wonder how much help Google gives you on your presentation, on what the shot looks like, on how to do the screen sharing, or are you just thrown into this? It would be really nice if Google had a team, and I bet they do, knowing Google, of people who work with you and say, okay, let's fix that shot. Let's get some lights in here. Make it work better. Because here's one. Confused by wires? I can help. Wanting to gain knowledge in your home theater, home security, landscape lighting, and home automation? I'm the guy.
I need to run wires through my new house. I might dial up that guy. And I like that some of these are marked as available for live help now. So you can, I imagine you could just click on it and the person's going to be there versus scheduling something ahead of time.
Right.
Well, so somebody mentioned that you could imagine this with glass. So imagine that wires thing where okay, look at the back of your TV screen.
Yeah,
okay,
let me look and see what you got there. Yeah.
Right.
I might try this. I'm going to send him I don't know, when would I have time to do this?
Gina,
I like the counseling possibilities. Like I
do too.
I would like someone who's like, my kid just came out and I don't know what to do. I just need to talk to somebody who's had this experience, or I'm in so much credit card debt. I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out. I just need somebody to talk through my finances with me.
It would be my guess that the more specific you are, if you actually said, I'm going to do HelpOuts on is your kid coming out? Let me help you with the transition. Would be much more effective than saying I'm just a general counselor.
Yes.
Agreed.
Be specific.
But I still go back to the health thing. If I could get a doctor's consultation for the cost of my copay.
What is this bump? I have this lump. What is this lump? It is. Why is my skin gray?
I'm trying to get Obamacare. How the hell do I navigate healthcare.gov?
You know who contacted us and wants to get on the show? Harper Reed, and I wonder if he wants to talk about that.
Have him on. He's great. He's great.
Oh, we've had him on before, and we're going to get him on again. But I'm guessing that he's not currently involved with the Obama administration, but he did their digital strategy for the 2008 election.
I think everybody's involved again.
I'm willing to bet, and I don't know, and I'll ask him, that he got the call, and they said, we need some techie people to go out there and explain what's going on. But I don't know. We'll find out. He reached out to us. Top Chef University, vegan, vegetarian lifestyle cooking, Caribbean cooking. This is really a neat idea. Anyway, we could go on and on. This has become an ad. But I think this is where you really have, Google has really built, I said this a while ago, that it's at Google I/O, you really get the feeling that they've built a platform, and now they have the opportunity to really explore it.
Yeah.
In so many neat ways.
Compare this to the Kindle's new, what's it called? The live, the live.
Oh, yeah, Mayday, the Mayday button.
That's just to help you with the Kindle.
Right.
And so the ad's a little creepy because it has a very attractive young woman, and a guy calls her up, and they kind of flirt with each other. It's a little creepy.
Yeah. It is.
Oh, yeah, the flirting Mayday thing. Yeah, when he's like, I like you, Jennifer. It's weird. It totally turned me off. I was like, whoa.
It's creepy.
Whoa.
Oh, good. I'm glad it wasn't just me.
Totally agree. Like, oh, great. I get to give customer support and also get hit on. Awesome.
I felt bad for Jennifer. I did.
I did too.
I was like, oh, poor.
Jennifer's the one calling Mayday.
And she was no. The guy calls Mayday.
No, I'm joking. Jennifer had to call Mayday.
Yeah, help me. I'll play it for you. You be the judge. Oh, wait a minute. There's an ad in front of the ad. Hold on a second.
It's not overt, hitting on, but
here, watch this.
Happening.
Is there? I don't know if there's audio.
Thank you for pressing the Mayday button. How can I help you?
Whoa, who are you?
You're cute.
Amy, a tech advisor for your new Kindle Fire.
I didn't realize I'd get a live person.
Can you come over now?
24/7. We can draw on your screen and even show you how to use different features.
But can you show me how to use this feature?
Mayday button. You're here to help.
Hit Mayday.
Feature this.
Coming to the rescue.
Amy, I like you.
Aw.
Aw, get out of here, you creeper.
That is creepy.
FYI, is the aw of I don't know what to say because I'm slightly uncomfortable.
Aw. Oh.
I've made that aw before.
Aw. It made me so uncomfortable. It's so funny. So I'm glad it wasn't just me.
I'm glad that it wasn't just me. Because sometimes I worry that I'm a little too sensitive to these things. So I'm glad that you said it, Leo.
No, it should have been two guys. It would have been much better. And then he could have gone, aw.
Aw.
Oh, I love you, man. I love you too, bro.
Wasn't that one of those TV
like
adverts
you,
where you ring
John.
yourself up for tech support?
I wonder, has anybody ever used the Mayday button? Who uses that? Except lonely guys hoping that Jennifer will answer.
Well,
It's kind of like
what it is.
chat roulette for the Kindle. I'm so glad I'm not the CSR.
That's the thing.
I'm so glad I'm not a
what it is,
CSR.
too? It's the human Clippy.
It is the human Clippy. I think Kevin Rose
Right?
did it and like screencast it just to see what it was like. He
Oh, did he?
Mayday
Oh.
and said, how do I get to settings? And it was a dude who looked nothing like Jennifer.
That's the
Wow.
It's by the way, her name is Amy. We've been corrected.
Amy, sorry.
Yeah, Kevin Rose Mayday. That's good.
I thought he tweeted it a while back.
He said it's amazing. Man, Mayday as a name is genius. I agree.
But if your product needs that tells you something.
Yeah, I'm sure they debated that. Should we? Yeah, see, he got a dude named Anthony. And Anthony is not sitting in a futuristic space. He's sitting in a call center, and you can see the ducting on the roof. It's not nearly so sexy.
A backcloth, wouldn't you?
Hey, Anthony. Yo, let's play the video. You want to watch?
All right, thank you so much. And how are you doing today, Kevin?
I'm just looking to get into the settings. Can you show me how to do that?
I'm going down from the time.
Yeah, I see that line.
Swipe down.
It's just like a
Gotcha.
regular
It is.
tech support.
Great. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Aw.
Aw.
It would be better if Kevin weren't looking at the latest issue of Men's Health magazine during the call, I must say.
I like to add a little flavor to that.
Aw.
Abs.
That's what you're going to get. Let's be honest. You're not getting Amy.
Notification sound, yes.
Amy is not working at Amazon's call center.
Kevin and Anthony sitting in a tree.
Aw.
Aw. All right, sorry.
We're going to take a break now so everybody can collect themselves, take a deep breath, think about what's happened here today. Our show. Our show today brought to you by Squarespace. They actually have great support. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they put in a Mayday button at some point. Squarespace, of course, is the best hosting with the best software, giving you the best web experience of your life, whether you just want a blog or a photographer wants a great portfolio, or maybe you make something you want to sell. Squarespace is a great way to get in the net. They constantly improve their platform, new features, new designs, new support. They have more than 20 beautiful templates you'll start with. They've won numerous design awards. It's very easy to use, but of course, 24/7, there's somebody there to help you. Their customer support team has numerous industry awards. They just got a Golden Stevie for outstanding service. And the best part is you could try it free for 2 weeks. You don't need to give them a credit card. Really see what it is. Try it out. If you decide this is the next home for your website after 2 weeks. By the way, you can import all your existing content. You're never stuck. It's easy to export as well. They have APIs for all the blog platforms. Look at the price. It's very straightforward. As little as $8 a month with an annual plan, but most people go with the unlimited plan. When you buy a year, it's $16 a month. You get unlimited pages, unlimited galleries, unlimited blogs, unlimited bandwidth. You could be the most popular site in the world. You'll never get a bandwidth bill. Believe me, nobody else does that. Unlimited storage, unlimited contributors. You could do The Verge on here. You could have 100 writers on a $16 a month plan. Mobile website. If you register for a year, they'll get you a custom domain name free and hook it up. And, of course, the best support in the world. They've got a whole support site, forums. They've got webinars, online training, all included with that amazing price. Now, if you want to sell, you're going to go to the business plan. That's $24 a month when you buy an annual plan. And that gives you fully integrated commerce, no transaction fees, unlimited physical or digital or service products, unlimited pages, storage, bandwidth, contributors, all of that. The inventory tracking is free. They'll do all the tax calculations, all the shipping calculation. You can even do coupons, unlimited coupons anytime you feel like it. It's just the best. The best hosting, always secure because their software is always up to date. Right now, you can try it for free. Just click the Get Started button. If you decide to buy, we're going to get you 10% off. Just make sure you use the offer code TWIG11 when you check out. 10% off, TWIG11. And we thank you for supporting Squarespace, for supporting This Week in Google. We love Squarespace. That gang over there is just fabulous. Squarespace.com. Use the offer code TWIG11 when you decide to buy. Yes, Jeff?
Just one quick note related to what we just talked about. Google also announced connected classrooms, where classrooms can use Hangouts to take field trips.
Wow.
I want to mention that real quickly because that's this educational push is really interesting to see how they're using Plus to do that.
Well, and it's very clear they're not pushing just in education; they're pushing everywhere. They're building a barge for parties.
They're all about connecting people on their platform.
I love
it's a barge or
they finally have admitted we know they've been building this barge in the San Francisco Bay Area. We speculated it might be a floating data center. Our local Channel 5 KPIX said, no, we know it's a Google Glass showroom.
It just sounded ridiculous.
Without windows. Now, finally, Google has said, sadly, none of the above. They told USA Today, although it's still in early days and things may change, we're exploring using the barge as an interactive space where people can learn about new technology. Well, maybe it is for Google Glass.
Oh.
Not exactly a party barge. More like a gadget barge.
For us, that's a party.
There's the party deck up top and showrooms down below. This is what Channel 5 speculated. I guess Channel 5 is the most accurate so far.
Leo, you know what I think this really is? Remember when Larry Page said at I.O. that he wanted this country where he could do anything he wanted to?
That sounds more like it.
It's the barge.
Right.
It's the beginning of the...
I'll move in.
They're making 4. We know they've got one in Maine, they've got one in San Francisco, and there's 2 others which we can't pinpoint. But really, maybe it's not 4, it's 4,000, and they're going to tie them all together in the middle of the ocean, and it's suddenly Google land.
Yay, I'm there.
I would go.
I'm there.
Google, if you want me to move, we'll do the show from there. Great. It'll have good bandwidth. Although, did you see this? L.A., the city of Los Angeles, is going straight up against Google to create a fiber network. They're asking for bids that would wire every one of the 3.5 million people who live in Los Angeles. What an interesting idea. They want now.
But it sounds a little like the old days of cable, where somebody wins the franchise and then you're stuck with their monopoly.
They say one of the deals, it has to be open.
Oh.
Anybody can ride on it. Now,
wow.
I don't know if anybody's going to go for it. I mean, this is the thing. The city says we're not paying for this. $3 to $5 billion cost of building fiber. The company must offer free service of at least 2 megabits to every LA resident. The company must sell access to the network to competitors. Answering your problem. So basically, they want that infrastructure. Yeah, they want gigabit citywide fiber. Oh, and the other reason it's not like Google, although I guess Google could bid, is that it will be the business component is very important. They want to make sure businesses also benefit from this. Google right now is consumers only. The city manager, actually technology agency general manager for Los Angeles Information Technology, Steve Reniker, told Ars Technica he hopes much of the cost of building the network will be offset by selling television service bundles with the internet service. So they're saying you can come in, you can wire it for fiber, and you make your money by offering triple plays. They can do phone service as well.
Right.
About a third of the city makes less than $45,000 a year. So there's a real concern. They want to part of what I think this is a great plan. If I don't even know. I mean, they're asking. It's an RFP. They're asking people to say they'll do it. If they can make this deal work for some company, it's great for the people of Los Angeles. But this is the kind of thing Philadelphia did and got, immediately sued by Comcast and everybody else. Cities have been trying to do free Wi-Fi for a long time.
The states pass special case laws just to prohibit this.
Right.
After being lobbied by telcos.
Right. This is the same city, by the way, that's rolling out iPads to each of its 650,000 students.
And has messed that up royally.
L.A. wants the winning bidder to make donations of home broadband equipment to nonprofits. Those nonprofits will then distribute them to needy residents. City is going to take bids for 3 months. If this works, it's great.
Yeah.
But what company's got $3 to $5 billion? Maybe it's the kind of thing Google would do. I don't know.
What a market to have, though. You're there with
you got LA.
Poor people. You got LA. You got all the showbiz there. You got. I'm disappointed Bloomberg didn't do that in New York.
This will be. I think New York's looking. Everybody's looking to see if this works for LA. I bet you everybody does this. This is really smart. What do you think of your new mayor, Mr. Blasio?
Don't know yet. My friend Chris Anderson, not that Chris Anderson, not that Chris Anderson. My friend Chris Anderson.
The third Chris Anderson.
The third Chris Anderson, the journalist Chris Anderson, had a great tweet this morning. He said, "Train's late, only 8 hours into the new administration."
No, he's not a mayor yet, right? Bloomberg's still the mayor, right?
No.
Yeah.
There's a great picture today of Bloomberg and de Blasio meeting, and Bloomberg's just looking off.
He says, Well, Bloomberg was mayor for how long? 12 years?
3 terms. Yep.
Whew. That's a long time.
I think he did a good job. I mean, it's not universally held, but I think that he did a good job.
I like the bicycles.
And the technocrats. We had an effort of the technocrat running. Jack Hidary, an entrepreneur here in New York, was trying to run as an independent, but never really got traction. And the Republicans certainly didn't have traction. So we have an old-time liberal as our mayor. See how it looks.
I've been loving the Google Doodles this week. Have you noticed them?
Yeah.
They were showing up in Google Now for me, or at least one of them showed up.
Yes, they do.
The train, the gorgeous train illustration showed up, which is like, I'll actually get to see the Doodles now.
They're in Google Now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They've always had graphics where they would show something that's related to either your locale or the time of day, right?
Yep.
Like right now, I have a bay with a whale spouting. I don't think that's the Google Doodle. Happy birthday, Tim Street, by the way. Is it?
Yeah, that's the header graphic, because I get a San Francisco one because I'm in San Francisco.
Yeah, but sometimes you'll get, and that's because there is no Google Doodle today. But I got the train. What was the train to honor?
That was
a dude. Who did engineering things.
Did a train.
Yeah.
He wore a striped cap with a bill. And then the human calculator. They had the calculator LCD.
I didn't realize. I didn't know about her.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a neat. That's
a great story.
That's what the Google Doodle should be.
The first one, Leo, the maps, I found interesting.
Let's talk about it. Google Maps is more of a platform than we realized.
To become more contextual to the time and the place and where you are, and also to you personally. And this is what I'm waiting for. This is where Foursquare, this is the competition of Foursquare. When I ask for pizza, does it give me the pizza my friends like?
Right. Actually, were you at this talk, Kevin Marks? Because this was at this was at Roadmap.
Yeah. And there was two of the Google guys that on stage talking to Om about this, and they were basically saying, well, we can't tell you about future products, but what we'd like to tell you about is what we'd like to be able to do now, which is their way of saying we're going to do this eventually. And the point for them was to say they wanted to use They said we want to make a map for every person for every place. So each map is unique, and it draws on information that we've got that we know about you. So if there are places that are in your stream that we know about, then we'll highlight those on the map, and they'll use the recommendation filters to pop things up, which is also like another. Oh, I see where the e-commerce bit comes in here. But they said we'd really also like to say if there's a football match on at the stadium, then it'll tell you the score of the football match, and that'll give you a clue as to how many minutes are left in the game, so you'll know that's about to come out, and that will, you probably don't want to drive past it. And so they wanted to bring those kind of ideas into it as well, make it thinking of the map as a data layer that they're showing all their other data on, and that was something they said was that to do this. The reason they can do this now is because they've spent a long time cleaning up data, and the time that you notice when you write the visualization, that's when you realize that the data is bad, because as soon as you combine two sources, you see that things aren't on top of each other anymore. And that was so. As they started doing that for their data validation and overlaying things like that, then they realized, we should bring some of the more of this into the product as well. So there was this interesting feedback loop between the two. Definitely interesting talk. It'd be worth watching that one when Giga put it up.
Maybe some information also towards this supplied by the Nexus 5 design, which has lots of new sensors in it. They have an accelerometer, a magnetometer, a gyroscope, proximity sensor, of course, light sensor, barometer, gravity sensor. I don't know. You'd be glad to know the gravity is normal here. Well, I think that's probably, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Linear acceleration, rotation.
An airplane, maybe?
I don't know. If it were a hard drive, I would say to detect a drop, but I don't know what it's for.
Well, try throwing it up in the air and see what it says.
Yeah.
Take it on.
Oh yeah, the gravity is.
Microgravity. See how that does there.
Bring the ladder out. Yeah.
There's a step detector, a step counter, a significant.
Well, that's important because you're going to be able to use this as a pedometer.
Right. Significant motion detector, game rotation vector, geomagnetic rotation vector, and orientation. These are all sensors built in to this device.
What are you reading those with?
This is a nice little app called CPU-Z or CPU-Z that I put on when I'm reviewing a product. It'll tell you what chip is on here, how many cores. You can actually see the core speeds. For instance, only 2 of my 4 cores are used right now. The other 2 are stopped. You can find out more about the system version and stuff. It's just it's like the old. What was the name of that Bellark Advisor that would tell you everything that was in your hardware, right? Battery level, sensors. Nice little program. Free program, CPU-Z.
So, but yeah, imagine how that gets used in all kinds of other shared data ways. By the way, Waze data has been spotted on Google Maps now.
Finally.
My beloved Waze, yes.
Finally. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Maps has always been a platform because back in the old days when you could do map mashups, all the things people were doing with Maps.
Yeah.
But now, I don't know, it seems like that Google made that harder to do, or they charged people or something. I don't see as many map mashups as before.
True.
Maybe Google just wants to do more of it.
They started...
they started charging for heavy API usage.
Right. So this is...
But there's always open maps.
Yeah. Open map data is very good, too.
They've deprecated the V2 API, so that's an issue at the moment.
It would make sense that this is the kind of thing Google would say, well, we'll take it from here.
Yeah.
I don't know, though.
Yeah, if you click on the Maps thing, you'll see...
Incident.
You can read that.
Right.
Incident reported via Waze app and things like that. So those are showing up in Maps.
Oh, it even credits Waze. That's good.
Yeah.
Now you know.
But that was part of what they were saying that they're bringing more data in that way. I did have a brief chat to them afterwards and said, okay, well this is very nice, but what happened to Latitude? And they said, yeah, that didn't really fit in with the new architecture, and we still want to bring that back at some point. But they felt that the way it works wasn't quite right. So
Kevin, you and I were the only people using Latitude. I always knew where Kevin was. He always knew where I was.
Well, I used it with my family because that's really handy when you've got 2 sons who are driving. It's like, hey, where are you and where's my car?
No, I agree. If you can get them to use it.
Well, the counterpoint was before they were driving. Well, you let me know where you are. I can come and pick you up. So,
right.
But yeah, that's stopped working now.
Yeah.
And the other one I grumbled about was Google Transit not knowing when you're actually on the transit. So you say, how do I get to the next place? It says, well, get off here and get onto the next bus behind you, and then go to here. And they said, yeah, but that's hard. We want to fix that, but we don't have all the data yet. So. Have you seen that problem?
Let's do a change log. You got the trumpets, the trumpeters here. All right, get them ready. Get them off their smoke break because it's time for
the Google change log.
Gina Trapani as the latest from Google.
Well, of course, the biggest item on the changelog is KitKat on the Nexus 5, which we've already covered pretty in depth earlier with your review, Leos. Thank you for doing that.
Sure.
Beyond KitKat, this is kind of an interesting Android change. Google announced that app indexing in Google Search will begin providing deep links into apps in search results. So you're on your phone and you search for, I don't know, Firefly, and you get the IMDb page back in your search results. If you've got the IMDb app installed and Google has indexed all the content inside the IMDb app, there will be a little button that says Open in App. So you tap that button and it launches the native app versus the website.
So this is something the app developer has to do?
Yes.
Yeah, so the app developer has to make their content. If you've got an app that contains a lot of content, there are some guidelines to make that content, discoverable and indexable by Google, which Google has just published. And Google's going to start slowly sort of rolling this out. I think they've invited a few test companies in there to try this out. I think Etsy, IMDb, Newegg, OpenTable, Wikipedia, and a few others. So this is pretty cool because you know how it works now. If you get a search result that's got a URL that Android recognizes, it might say open with. Do you want to open this with the native app? Do you want to open it up with Chrome? What do you want to open with? This just lets you go directly to inside the app, which would be pretty nice.
Well, I want to push back on this because I think that this is taking a feature that we've already got and then adding Google in the middle of it that spoils it. Because the way intents work is, any app can claim that URL. So I can write an app that parses IMDb URLs and displays something else, and you can install that. And when I click IMDb, it'll get there. Whereas this says you have to register with Google, and Google will choose how to redirect you to where and so on. So it's much more like the stuff that Twitter's been doing with cards than it is the sort of cleanliness of the intents that's built into the platform. So I'm less happy about this than you are, I think.
It looks like, though, if you don't have the official app installed, it won't show up. And it also looks like if you just tap on the link that you'll still get the intents prompt of, like, what do you want to open this up in? So I don't actually think you're losing the choice. But I agree with you. This is definitely a way for apps and for sites to push their official app. And let's be honest, I'm so sick of going to mobile sites and getting at the top of the page like, hey, do you want to install our Android app? No. Just bring me to the freaking page, right? And so I'm hoping
that then that's a win. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, so if it prevents people from doing that on their mobile websites, if this is an option, I think that'll probably hopefully, fingers crossed, see less of that. And then you still get the choice. I think you can still tap the link and choose to open it in another app if you say have an alternate Wikipedia or IMDb app. What else do we got? Oh, Google Now for iOS got a big update. It's got parity with Android now. It's got support for notifications and reminders. And when you launch the Google Now app on iOS, you can use the OK Google voice function as well. Excuse me. So yeah, you're getting the same kind of cards. You can get the Google Keep reminders and that kind of thing all on iOS. Of course, iOS doesn't have the widget support and doesn't have the swipe up support that Android gets, but still a nice update.
But does it have the voice? It has the voice support that Google Now has?
Yeah, well, right. So if you launch Google Now on iOS, you can use the OK Google hotware. But from what I understand, I haven't actually installed this yet on my iPhone. You have to have launched the app first.
Right.
So it's not always listed.
That makes sense. Of course. Yes.
Yep. And Google brings the hotel finder to mobile phones. Thank you, Jeff, for slipping this one into the changelog for me. If you go to google.com/hotels, you can enter in a location where you're looking to find a hotel, and there's a really nice way to search and filter and star and get hotel rates all kind of formatted for your mobile phone. This works in regular Google search results on your desktop right now. This is just a nice mobile interface. You can purchase, you can make reservations with Google Wallet in the countries it supports, which I think is just the United States right now. So that's really nice if you're looking to book a hotel on the go. And finally, iGoogle, rest in peace. It was announced a year ago that iGoogle would be shut down, and that has happened. If you go to google.com/IG, you just get redirected to the google.com homepage. No blog post announcement even. iGoogle has slipped off into the history books. And that's all we've got. That's all I've got for the changelog.
And that's the Google changelog. Thank you, Gina Trapani.
Sure.
What else?
What did Steve have to say about the latest NSA stuff of NSA tapping the connections between the servers?
Well, he read the two posts, the Google Plus posts from two.
Did he censor himself?
He had to. We basically Google's two of Google's engineers responded to the revelations that the NSA was tapping into leased servers. See, what happened was Google wasn't using the public internet to transport this data. It was transporting it over leased servers they owned, nevertheless servers which had been compromised by the National Spy Agency, according to Edward Snowden. And the response of these engineers, well, first Eric Schmidt says that's outrageous, right? And then the response of these engineers was, F you. F you, NSA.
It's about time we get to that anger.
Brandon Downey and Mike Hearn writing on Google Plus, talking about this. F these guys was Brandon Downey's pithy phrase. I've spent the last 10 years of my life trying to keep Google users safe and secure from the many diverse threats Google faces. I've seen armies of machines DOSing Google. I've seen worms DOSing Google to find vulnerabilities in other people's software. I've seen criminal gangs figure out malware. I've seen spyware masquerading as toolbars so thick it breaks computers because it interferes with the other spyware. I've even seen oppressive governments use state-sponsored hacking to target dissidents. But even though we suspected this was happening, it still makes me terribly sad. It makes me sad because I believe in America. After spending all that time helping in my tiny way to protect Google, one of the greatest things to arise from the internet, seeing this, well, it's just a little like coming home from war with Sauron, destroying the One Ring, only to discover that the NSA is on the front porch of the Shire chopping down the party tree and outsourcing all the hobbit farmers with half-orcs and whips. Suitably geeky reference there.
Whoa. Whoa.
The U.S. has to be better than this, but I guess in the interim, that security job is looking a lot more like a Sisyphean thing than ever before. So what Google's response to this, besides the salty phrases, is to now encrypt that data on those leased servers and encrypt every possible data
between the servers.
Yeah. Every possible data transport. You know, once it gets to the public internet, well, what can you do? But they're encrypting everything they can.
Any suspects yet? Is it level 3? Is it what kind of companies?
I don't know. Do you know that, Kevin? Who this is?
It wasn't clear, but I think that it needs to be an overseas connection for it to be allegedly legitimate for the NSA. So it's probably one of the connections between the different overseas data centers. And this is, part of the thing. One of the things that Google does with a lot of the data is replicate it between data centers, different countries, as the ultimate backup. That was one of the things that they had. That was before Gmail could lose the beta label. It had to make sure all the data was backed up in more than one country.
Right.
So this is a significant thing for Google. Lots of the data is moved between countries in this way. So in effect, they would have slurped down a lot of the transactions.
So is it replication? It's replication.
It looks like replication is what they're tapping into here. Yeah.
Mike Hearn, who's British, says, I'm not an American, I'm a Brit, but it's no different. GCHQ, the British NSA, basically, turns out to be even worse than the NSA. We designed this system to keep criminals out. There's no ambiguity here. The warrant system with skeptical judges, paths for appeal, and rules of evidence was built from centuries of hard-won experience. When it works, It represents as good a balance as we've got between the need to restrain the state and the need to keep crime in check. Bypassing that system is illegal for a good reason. And he says, thank you, Edward Snowden. For me personally, this is the most interesting revelation all summer. So, yeah, I'm glad that Google is allowing its engineers. They both say, we're not speaking for Google here, but allowing its engineers to speak out. These are two of the guys whose job it was to keep prying eyes from this data. So it's a particularly jarring and I'm sure insulting and annoying to them that the U.S. government is doing this, or their own government in the case of the GCHQ. Schmidt said it's outrageous. These guys spoke a little more candidly.
All the security guys I know are really, really grumpy about this. Yeah.
It's not okay. It's not okay, Google.
Those aren't people you want to get grumpy.
Well, there's not much they can do except to encrypt everything, which is, I presume, now what they're
doing.
Yeah, encrypt your replication servers. Yep. By 4-1, early adopters pick wearable watches over glasses. Not
surprising.
Not that either one is really yet ready for prime time. Do we care about this Rockstar lawsuit against Google? Microsoft and Apple outbid Google. Google bid $4.5 billion for the Nortel patents. Turned out that wasn't enough. A consortium composed of Microsoft, Apple, RIM, Ericsson, and Sony, operating under the name Rockstar Bidco, beat the Google bid, and now they're using those patents against Google.
Right. But at the time, they said they were buying them as defensive measures and as to do a licensing pool and blah, blah, blah. But now they've set up a patent troll entity, this Rockstar, and they filed lawsuits against anyone running Android. So there's two clumps of lawsuits. There's one against every handset manufacturer with a bunch of patents on bullshit things like the most shockingly bullshit one was one that said screens are too small, so we need to have a way of scrolling over a small screen. So therefore, here's an idea for a floating cursor that you click on top of the screen, and then in the preamble it says, computers now have large screens that are 640 by 480 pixels. So,
that's how old this patent is.
That's how old that patent is, and how unlike any actual working thing it is. But they're using that as as part of the chain of going after all the phone people. And then they've got another chain of patents that are, a patent on searching a search index and searching an advertising index at the same time and displaying them side by side.
Wow.
Which is like, well, that seems like a really obvious idea to anyone who's seen a search engine ever. But because it was before Google was founded, they're using that and a whole chain of related ones to go after Google and say you can't do that. So it's a sort of a gigantic part of attacks again.
If there were ever a question whether they're patent trolls, they're doing all the things patent trolls do. They've got an office in Ottawa, Canada, where they have 10 reverse engineers going through every product they can find, looking for somebody to sue. They file these suits in the Eastern District of Texas, where both the judges and the juries are very much in favor of plaintiffs.
Can't we make this end? Jeez,
isn't it sad?
I think Google Fiber needs to wire Eastern Texas. I think that will be a really smart move.
Yes.
What I was told by some is that not only are the judges very pro-plaintiff in these, but the juries, because it's essentially fairly poor. It's bedrock, God-fearing, kind of hard scrabble types, is that they don't like big companies. And so if you can position yourself, this is why why it's not Microsoft suing Google. If you can position yourself as a little guy who had an invention going up against the big guy, they'll almost always rule in favor of the little guy.
Right, but I'm not sure how that works for this set of patent pools, which were Nortel's patent pool that's been bought by a consortium.
But they position it. That's why Interval never uses its own name. They position it. The lawyer says, "Listen, here is Mike Smith. He invented back in 1997 a way to find advertisements in a database and match them to searches. He just wanted to make a little money on the side, and along comes Google. Now we've asked Google to license his patent, but Google just says no. They basically outright stole it from Mike, and I think you ought to give Mike some money." And the jury says, yes, sir.
Yeah, we need some better storytellers on the opening side.
I know far too much about this story. I don't want to talk.
I know.
And Kevin knows that. Let us move on. I think it's time for a tool, a tip, a number, all of that stuff. Let's start with...
One more I want to drop in that I've...
oh, yeah. I always do this, and I apologize. If there is a story you would like to talk about, please. Go ahead, Kevin.
So Samsung have just had their analyst meeting and announced a whole bunch of upcoming things. They've also invented the term fondblet, which is their term for the things, the dislike things that aren't quite phones and aren't quite tablets.
There's Charbax in back of you, by the way. He's spying on you.
Yeah. He's got his Steadicam on. But what they've announced is they said they're going to ship even higher resolution smartphone displays, 2560 by 1440 next year, and then
holy cow,
2840 by 2106 in 2015. Now,
is there demand for this?
How do you do that at this size? Do they ship with like a loop? On this one, if I take my glass off and hold it really close, I still can't see the pixels, but I can, it's got as many pixels as the Nexus 7.
Well, it is Moore's law, right? That just as power processors, or the number of transistors in a processor doubles every 18 months, it's presumed that these displays, the pixel size can get smaller and smaller and smaller. But there's the question is, and this is, I guess, what you're saying, if you can't see it, what does it matter?
Right, but I'm not sure why you would want to do. Well, the only thing may be so that then you can plug it into external screens because you're going to have a 4K external screen by then. That would make a bit of sense.
Or maybe it has to do with sub-pixel rendering, that kind of thing, so that you get crisper fonts. Although the fonts look pretty good to me right now.
You can't get any crisper than this.
That's pretty crisp.
1080p on 2000 by 1000 on a 5-inch screen is pretty insanely crisp.
There's enough sub-pixels for any renderer.
It's a dumb question.
No, I'm now in this lovely state. I just got this. Sorry. I just got this phone. I got a new Mac Pro with the Retina display. So, and I've already had the Nexus 7. So all my screens have and the Chromebook Pixel. So now all my screens have higher resolution than I can actually see.
Right.
I even got new glasses this week so that I could actually focus better. I've got
that's it.
Progressive
Think of
now.
the optometrists. It's an optometrist support rule. I think it's good.
Well, it was actually quite funny. I went into the optometrist and I said, and they said, "Can you read this bit of paper?" And I said, "Well, can I read this instead?" And put it on my tablet. So this is what I'm actually going to be reading. Can I actually check it against this rather than?
Yeah, I can't think of any. They should work on color gamut, color accuracy, brightness. I don't know if the size of the pixels is really.
Even more pixels is an easy thing to do. Well, it's not easy. It's actually a hard thing to do, but it's an obvious thing to do, and they'll keep doing that.
Right.
And it's the same with the cameras. The cameras got more and more megapixels,
right.
And they said, "Oh, we're making these sensor things too small now, and wouldn't it be nice to back off a bit and get some better ability to capture more photons and give you better nighttime stuff."
Right.
Or I can actually do better dynamic range, so that you can do the things you'd have to take multiple shot exposures with before. So I suspect that the screen things may end up being the same. But one of the interesting things for me is that it does change the design dynamic again. So the design dynamic we've had for the past 5 years has been, you should first it was you need to design a mobile version of your site, and then it was you got to design a responsive version of a site that works on both, and then it was you design mobile first because most people are on mobile. But that design center there has moved from you've got a sort of 320 by 480 pixel thing that's this big to I've got this screen that has more pixels than the last laptop I had, and is this big. And all my other devices are getting these super high res screens as well, which means that instead of saying I just need to put more and more bigger bitmaps in, gets less and less viable, and I should just use SVG and use vector fonts and use things that naturally scale much more in my designs. It starts making more and more sense. So I think that's going to be an interesting iteration as these screens roll out, and we'll start seeing people doing designs that are much more print-like because they can actually be rendered for a change. And it'll be like the Edward Tufte books where he has those ridiculous hairline things that are conveying huge amounts of information in tiny spaces, but they're actually viable on these screens now.
Right. Isn't that nice? Any other stories before we get our tip of the week?
Quick one. We talked about how there was some backlash against Chrome for not prompting you to enter your system password before you could look at your saved passwords. And, the Chromium engineers were like, look, if someone can get into your Chrome settings, then, what's the point? That's just sort of like security theater. Well, they backed down, and they've actually added a flag into Chromium. This is a Chromium build for Mac that will prompt you for your system, your Mac password before you could, when you go into save passwords and say, show me a password, it'll mimic the behavior of Safari. So it's interesting backpedaling going on there.
Apparently in Canary, too, now. So that means it will almost certainly make it into the final. In
the final build, yep.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, we talked about that on Security Now as well. I guess we knew this would happen. They justified it, and they justified it in a sensible way, but why not put a password in? It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Right. It does just sort of give you the feeling of that it's secure.
Yeah. Security theater's still a good thing.
Yeah.
It's just theater, but who doesn't love theater?
It works the TSA, so,
Yeah, there you go. Hey, what is your tip of the week, Gina?
So my tip is actually, it's a new gadget that I bought. I talked about this on the show a while. This is a Kickstarter that I backed a long time ago, and it just shipped in the mail this week. This is the most useful thing I've ever bought on Kickstarter.
Wow.
It's the FluxMob Bolt. It is a charger for your device. It's a USB charger. You see there's a USB port right here. But it's also an external battery. I shouldn't say an external battery, but a portable charger. So, Jeff, when you and Leo and I were at Google I/O this year, my phone died, and you saved my bacon with the Mophie juice pack. This is just like that, but it also acts like a standard charger. So I just I wanted to kind of
show it off. So keep it plugged in, and then how much juice does it have in there?
It will charge your device, or it charges my HTC One fully once it's fully charged.
That's
portable, good. Which is really nice. You can also charge your your iPad or your iPhone. I also got the little 3-prong charger thing, so you just plug it in. But you can use whatever cord comes with your device. But I love this thing because it basically replaced my charger, but also when I'm on the go, I can just grab it out of the wall, throw it in my bag. I don't need to carry my charger and an external charger. It's all kind of all in one. So I really dig it. I recommend it. And they're for sale at the FluxMob site now, fluxmob.com if you want to check it out.
That's a good deal. It's a fairly hefty battery, 3,000 milliamp hours, which is a decent sized battery. That's bigger than the battery in your phone.
Yeah.
It's not as big as the battery in this son of a gun. This is is Chad's anchored giant battery. It's got 20,000 milliamp hours in it. Yeah, but who wants to carry that around? It weighs a pound.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, if you're going to carry a charger around, this is it does both. And
3,000 is good. That is a full charge for almost any phone on the market.
Yep. Yeah, and I don't know these guys. I happened to back them because a friend of mine did, and it was one of those things where it finally came, and I was like, yay, and then tried it out. The thing I don't like is that you have to turn it on. I sort of expected that you could just plug in your device and it would work, but you turn it on and it tells you how much juice is in there. You can see it's got an indicator, kind of like what's on the Mac. What
did you pay as a backer? Remember?
What's that?
What did you pay as a backer? Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. I think I paid like $50. I think I got like $10 off.
So I'm at the site, but I don't. And I went to buy now, but I don't. There's no actual.
You mouse over the pieces and it'll.
Oh my God! Can you hide that better for me?
No, that was not.
What? So there's the argon, the graphite, and the stealth. They're all $60. That's just different colors, I guess.
Yeah, those are just different colors, exactly. I'm checking to see which.
They really got to work on the web design. That's not good. Yeah. I can't. If you didn't hover over it, you would say, well, okay, it says buy. Where? I don't normally just hover my mouse over strange objects.
Over strange objects. Yeah, I think I paid either 30, 40, or $50. I don't remember which.
It's a stealth purchase feature. Sometimes there's too much design in web design, isn't there?
Yeah, you think?
Jeff, your number of the week.
Well, let's go with this one because this news is fairly current. Dish, which bought Blockbuster, just announced they're closing the last 300 Blockbuster stores.
Oh, it's over.
They even existed. 9 years ago, there were 9,000.
Whoa! There were 9,000. There are 300. They're going to be 0.
Yes.
Even though they rented DVDs, it wasn't just VCRs, VHS tapes. That's sad.
Yeah, today on Howard Stern show, Sal, the stockbroker, Sal Governale, went into Craigslist and read particularly wacky things there. And one thing said something about, I'll meet you at the video store. And Robin Quiver said, video stores? There's no video stores anymore. Or Howard did. And Robin said, yeah, there are for porn.
I don't even know why that exists, because if you visit my new Google Help Out.
Exactly. You won't need to pay for porn.
I'm telling you. Huge. It'll be huge. Okay. Do you have anything, Kevin, that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I have a set of bad jokes I made the other night, which is all Google products need to end in outs now. So we've got Google Ventures becomes Google Handouts.
I like it. I like it.
It's Google Printouts, right? What else I have? Google 20% time is Google Layabouts.
Layabouts. This is a good new parlor game. I like it.
Google Maps directions is Google Gadabouts. What else have I got? Oh, and when they acqui-hire people, they use Google Sellouts.
Sellouts! Wow.
There we go.
I think there's going to be more. Email them to Kevin. Kevin Marks, thank you so much for... my tip is, so when I'm setting up, I don't have a tool today. I was setting up Twitter on the new Nexus 5. And I really apologize to each and every one of you for sending you at least one, in some cases as many as 8 emails inviting you to join Twitter.
Oh, no.
The app desperately wants you to do that. Desperately wants you to do that.
I got to show you. It is way too easy. Way too easy. So just a word of warning, the next time you set up Twitter, you'll automatically be brought to the who to follow and find friends. We will securely upload your contacts to help you find friends and suggest users. They should be a little more clear that we will be storing that contact list forever. And if anybody should ever break into our servers, they'll have access to it too. But okay, I'm a nice guy. I'm going to click OK. There's some matches. I don't really want to follow those people, or maybe I did. I'm done. Oh, wait a minute. Here's another page. Invite friends. 1,431 contacts. Oh, they're all checked. But you know what? I'm just going to say done, because I don't really want to do that. If you click that done, as I did, all 1,004. And by the way, it doesn't just mail one to each contact. It mails one to each address I have in the contact book for you.
Oh yeah. Ouch.
Yeah,
and the default is all selected.
Yeah,
Twitter.
Of course it is. My mailing list got spammed with people inviting the mailing list to Twitter, my open source mailing list, because apparently it was in people's contact lists, and they did that exactly.
Well, I mean, who wouldn't press done there? Done means I'm done. Yeah, and it doesn't give you a warning, okay, we're going to email everybody or anything. It just, you're done.
Right.
Done meant invite every person you gosh darn know. My mom, I felt so bad, said, well, I joined Twitter. Where are your pictures?
Oh. There really should be an, are you sure you want to send 1,433 emails right now?
It's unacceptable. Yeah. And if I could tank Twitter's IPO right now, I would.
So what do you think the stock's going to close at tomorrow?
Did it? When does it start?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the day?
Yeah, tomorrow's the day.
Nobody should buy Twitter stock ever, ever, ever.
Is that, it's your official recommendation?
I am not a registered stock advisor. I don't have any standing for which to tell you this.
You can do it on Google HelpOuts, though. You can say...
Here's a help out. That's the name of my help out. Why you should never, ever, ever buy stock in Twitter. What they're saying, $17 to $20 was the range they predicted. Do you think
they went up? I think
they went up.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm sure it'll be very hot, right? Because people like my mom go, oh, I love that Twitter. I'm going to buy some stock with my hard-earned dollars that are all I have left now that I'm in retirement. Let me put my money into these tech stocks. I hear tech's a good thing.
I keep getting emails from them to join
27.
Twitter, so they must be good.
They went to 27, Leo.
But, you know, they're not, I mean, that only values them at, what, $18 billion?
Something like that. 19 billion. 19.
And they've yet to figure out a way to monetize, but that's not important. That's not what's important here. It's your chance to get into this fast and exciting new technology business. Social media is all the rage. Oh, well, I'm sure I'm violating SEC rules by the minute, so I should probably just shut up now.
Their penetration is still small enough. I wonder if they're not beatable.
Oh, gosh, yes. Any social media is beatable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Any
Friendster,
social media is beatable.
MySpace taught us that.
There's plenty of lessons learned. Yeah, and AOL Instant Messenger, another classic.
Yeah.
Just remember
ICQ.
ICQ. That's the one I was going to mention.
Right.
I think Facebook might be. No, maybe not. You know what? We're going to ask Robert Scoble and Shel Israel next, because they're our next victims on triangulation in just a few minutes. Their new book, Age of Context, just came out. Kevin Marks, thank you so much, from Salesforce.com. He's been at BT. He's been at Google. He's been at Apple. He's been everywhere. More than Johnny Cash. Thank you.
I'm not at Salesforce anymore. I've left Salesforce this month.
Yeah, well, there you go. Where are you now?
I am now independent and.
Are you looking for work?
What to do next.
Are you looking for work?
Well, I'm not sure about looking for work. I'm looking for what to do next, which is a slightly different way of framing it.
Yeah. No.
Some things I want to make. Let's put it that way.
At this point in your career, you don't need a job. You need an adventure.
There we go.
Yeah. Maybe you should join the Army. Kevin Marks, great to talk to you. Tumblevision.tv at Kevin Marks on that thing that sounds like a bird tweeting.
Thank you.
He's also on Google+.
I can see Kevin with a hard hat and one of those riding crops right now.
What is it? What I'm sorry. Steeplechase? Is that what you're suggesting? What is he doing?
What am I doing now?
Riding crop.
He's got a whip and a hard hat. I don't. It could be almost anything at this point.
I see him in ninja.
A ninja.
A ninja.
He's a ninja.
Ninja.
A ninja for open standards.
There we go. Open standards. That's what I'll put on my Google
business
HelpOuts.
card. Yeah, open standards ninja. I like it.
Well, I went to the what are they called? Neo launch thing last night. They've just bought a big building in San Francisco, which is it's owned by Digital Garage from Japan, and they bought Neo, which is a roll-up of a developer house. But they'd done this sort of huge over-the-top presentation of all this Japanese stuff. One of the things they had was a video showing the East meets West thing, which was a samurai on a horse, an American Indian on a horse, and a cowboy on a horse, and like a dressage lady on a horse, all like merging and crossing the planes together. And this was their symbolic, we're bringing the East and West together thing. It was very odd. So I think I know where those ninjas are. Yeah.
They support clients with lean UX design. That's all that I had to read. They're the ones who invented the hover over it and click to find out how to buy this. I want to thank Jeff Jarvis from the City University of New York, where he teaches journalism to a bunch of children who don't deserve him. He's also the author of What Would Google Do in his latest Public Parts, available in bookstores everywhere. His blog is buzzmachine.com. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Gina Trapani is at smarterware.org, but more importantly, she's raising money for ThinkUp. If you go to thinkup.com, it's not too late to be a funder in the early stages.
It's not. And in fact, we reached our goal of 1,000 backers.
Yes!
Congratulations. I'm really excited about. And we've got our first stretch goal, 2,000 followers. And if you missed the early bird rate, we have just posted, literally like right before the show, a late bird rate for procrastinators. Because we really want to.
Do you have a dirty bird rate? Because that's the one.
You are.
So if 2,000 more people, right? Or no, if you get to 2,000 people.
Yeah, if we get to 2,000 people.
By November 15th, which is a week from now, every member gets a code for a free year of ThinkUp to give to a friend.
Yeah, coupon code for free year. We got to reach that. We got 10 days left. We got to reach
awesome.
that 2,000 in order for that to happen.
That's awesome.
But if you're thinking about joining, you missed early bird, you can grab late bird. It's only $50 a year. There is a bug on the front page of the website, which I'm going to fix as soon as I hang up.
It's throbbing. It's a throbbing bug.
It is a throbbing bug. And Leo, I wanted to thank you. Steve Martin actually agreed to be interviewed for the book that we're putting together about social media. Yeah, so we just published his interview. Blog.thinkup.com is Steve Martin's interview about how he uses social media. And then we're actually compiling all these interviews we're doing with some amazing people into an ebook, which you also get if you back the campaign.
Steve Martin, Fred Wilson, Tim O'Reilly, Juliana Rotich, Chelsea Peretti. This is good.
Yeah,
I want my book.
People. Yeah.
Who did the interview with Steve?
I actually reached out to him because, he used ThinkUp to put together his book of tweets way back a couple of years ago because you introed me to
a year
him,
ago.
So,
not that long ago.
A year ago. So he was very gracious. We did the email or the interview over email. He was absolutely wonderful. So
that's
really
neat.
Grateful to have him.
He's a very, very neat guy. His book, though, the worst name for a book ever. No, seriously, if you want to buy it, good luck finding it. The 10, make that 9 habits of very organized people. Make that 10 the tweets of Steve Martin. That's the name.
Yes, it became a bestseller. So
good.
There you go.
It should be a bestseller. Good. All right. Hey, thinkup.com. It's not too late to be a late bird. By the way, I just want to point out late birds pay the same as early birds.
Yeah, late birds pay the same.
So it's not like you're at a disadvantage.
We love procrastinating. We understand procrastination.
They're programmers. Of course they do. Gina also blogs at smarterware.org when she's not programming, which is never, so don't look for a blog post anytime in the near future.
Thank you, Leo. That's true.
And her other, if she didn't have enough to do, her other project is txt.com, a great little to-do list for the iPhone and Android devices.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We do this show 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 2100 UTC, right here on twit.tv. Watching live is always good for the soul. But if you can't watch live, don't worry. All the swear words are taken out, and you can download the expurgated, Bowdlerized, dare I say, version of this show at twit.tv/twig. I bet you Jeff and maybe Kevin, probably the only person who know who Bowdler was.
Kevin.
He was
a minister, wasn't he? Or was he a publisher?
I think he did like expurgated versions of
Shakespeare. He published the Family Shakespeare.
Yes, it was Shakespeare without the naughty bits.
That's what you get if you listen to the audio or video downloads of this show. You get the family version of Shakespeare, and that's available at twit.tv/twig or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Wednesday on This Week in Google. Bye-bye.